For over a century, Mack Trucks have been synonymous with American toughness, a bulldog on wheels that hauls heavier loads, endures longer roads, and refuses to break. From the dusty construction sites of the 1910s to the sprawling interstate highways of today, Mack has quietly become the workhorse that powers America's economy. But behind the chrome hood ornament and roaring engines lies a story of conflict, innovation, and survival. European acquisitions, economic downturns, and technological revolutions threatened to reshape the brand, forcing Mack to fight for its identity while evolving for the future. This is the story of how Mack Trucks became, and remained, America's unbreakable workhorse, a story of steel, sweat, and relentless determination. The birth of the bulldog, Mack's unlikely origins. Long before Mack Trucks became a symbol of American power and industrial endurance, the company began in a small and unassuming wagon shop in Brooklyn. In the late 1800s, the United States was entering a period of rapid transformation. Factories were expanding, railroads were dominating long-distance travel, and cities were growing in every direction. Yet, despite these advancements, most people and goods were still transported by horses. The idea of a heavy motorized truck seemed unnecessary, impractical, and in many circles even laughable. It was into this environment that brothers Jack and Augustus Mack decided to pursue an idea that went against both common sense and industry trends. When the brothers purchased the Fallon Wagon Company in 1893, most observers assumed they would simply continue the traditional business of building horse-drawn wagons. That would have been the safe and predictable path. Instead, the Macks became fascinated by the possibilities of internal combustion engines, a technology many investors still viewed as unreliable and dangerous. Steam engines were bulky and inefficient, and gasoline engines were considered experimental devices suitable only for small hobby machines or fragile automobiles. But the brothers were convinced that engines could be applied to something far more ambitious: vehicles strong enough to carry industrial America on their backs. Their early experiments demonstrated both creativity and risk. In 1900, they built the Manhattan Sightseeing Bus, one of the earliest motorized buses in New York City. It was not designed for elegance or speed. It was designed to survive the punishing conditions of Manhattan streets, which at the time were made of uneven cobblestones, mud, and broken pavement. The bus survived daily use and proved that motorized vehicles, when built with the right engineering philosophy, could outperform horses in durability and efficiency. Although this achievement did not immediately convert skeptics, it provided the brothers with the confidence and early reputation they needed to push further. Convincing the public, however, was another challenge entirely. Investors and city officials frequently questioned the practicality of motor trucks. They argued that horses were cheaper, easier to maintain, and more adaptable to the unpredictable terrain of early roads. Editorials in newspapers mocked the motor truck fad and predicted that heavy vehicles powered by gasoline would never replace the reliability of horses. Many urban planners believed that trucks would damage roads, create accidents, and disrupt existing traffic systems. Beyond public opinion, powerful economic forces also resisted the Mack's ambitions. Entire industries, including horse breeders, carriage builders, and blacksmiths, had no interest in seeing their livelihoods threatened by motorized competition. Despite the criticism, the brothers pressed forward with unwavering persistence. In 1905, Mack introduced its first purpose-built commercial truck, a machine engineered with an emphasis on strength rather than speed or style. Unlike the growing number of automobile companies chasing consumer markets, the Macks focused on industries that needed a vehicle capable of pulling heavy loads without breaking down. Factories, mining companies, construction firms, and freight haulers quickly recognized the potential of these rugged machines. Orders increased, and word spread that the Mack brothers were building something entirely different from the delicate automobiles emerging from Detroit. Still, the company's early years were filled with conflict. By choosing to pursue heavy-duty trucks, The Macks found themselves in direct competition with railroads, which viewed trucks as a potential threat to their dominance in freight transportation. Labor unions feared that mechanization would replace workers. City ordinances often restricted motor vehicles in favor of horse wagons. Even competitors questioned the practicality of Mack's designs, arguing that the company was focusing on a niche market too small to be profitable. Yet, every challenge seemed to strengthen the Mack brothers' resolve. They maintained a philosophy that would later define the brand: build machines that last, even under the harshest conditions. By the early 1910s, the momentum behind Mack Trucks had become undeniable. Industrial America was expanding at a remarkable pace, and industries increasingly needed vehicles capable of transporting heavy materials over long and punishing routes. Steel, coal, timber, construction supplies, and machinery all required a level of strength that early automobiles simply could not provide. The Macks recognized that the nation was evolving into a heavy industry powerhouse and that reliable transportation would become the backbone of that transformation. Their trucks were not just machines. They were tools designed to move the physical weight of a growing country. What neither the brothers nor their critics realized was that their creations were about to face a test far more severe than anything they had encountered on American streets. Within a few years, Mack Trucks would be thrust into the chaos of World War I, where their endurance would earn them a nickname that would become one of the most iconic symbols in American manufacturing history: the bulldog. The bulldog reputation earned in blood. When World War I erupted in 1914, no one expected that a young American truck company would soon become an essential part of one of the most brutal conflicts in human history. At the time, Mack Trucks was still establishing its identity, known mostly in industrial circles but not yet a national symbol. The brothers had built a reputation for strength and reliability, but their creations had never faced a true test, certainly not the kind that war would bring. Yet, it was on the muddy, shell-shattered roads of Europe that Mack's machines would prove their worth and earn a nickname that would follow the company for the next century: the Bulldog. By 1917, when the United States officially entered the war, military planners were facing enormous logistical challenges. The old model of warfare that relied on horses and wagons was collapsing under the weight of modern artillery, machine guns, and mechanized forces. Horses were struggling through deep trenches, cratered fields, and chemical-soaked mud. Supplies were not reaching the front lines fast enough, and armies were discovering that modern war demanded modern transportation. It was in this environment that the U.S. military began searching for vehicles that could survive terrain so punishing that even experienced engineers doubted any machine could last. Mack delivered the answer with the Mack AC, a truck that looked more like a battlefield creature than a commercial vehicle. It had exposed chains, a brutal gear system, a hood that resembled the muscular shoulders of a bulldog, and a frame that could endure constant shock without bending. The AC did not rely on elegance or speed. It relied on brute force. Soldiers quickly discovered that while many trucks broke down under artillery vibrations or sank hopelessly into mud, the Mack AC kept moving. Its ability to survive frontline conditions earned admiration from American, British, and French troops. They noticed that even when the truck was hit by shrapnel, coated in grime, or loaded well beyond its rated capacity, it continued to push forward. The hood, short and muscular, gave it a distinctive silhouette, one that inspired British soldiers to give it the nickname Bulldog. The name stuck immediately. It described not just the truck's appearance but its temperament: stubborn, tough, and fiercely reliable. However, the admiration did not come without controversy. As the war intensified, critics accused American manufacturers of profiting from the conflict. Newspapers published sharp editorials arguing that companies like Mack were benefiting financially from the suffering of soldiers. Some politicians claimed that military contracts were being awarded too quickly, without proper oversight. Mack found itself dragged into debates over whether its wartime success was driven by patriotism or profit. Although there was never evidence of misconduct, the company could not escape the cloud of suspicion that often surrounded wartime industrial suppliers. Another conflict arose around the rapid shift from horses to machines. Traditionalists in the military argued that trucks would never replace animal transport, claiming they were too fragile, too complicated, and too dependent on fuel. Some generals believed that trusting machines over horses was reckless. There were even heated internal arguments within the U.S. Army's Quartermaster Corps about whether mechanization would create logistical chaos. But every time the debate resurfaced, the Mack AC answered it on the battlefield. Reports repeatedly documented that Mack Trucks delivered ammunition, food, and medical supplies under conditions so extreme that commanders eventually had no choice but to acknowledge the superiority of mechanized transport. By the end of the war, Mack AC trucks had transported tens of thousands of tons of equipment and supplies. Their performance became a defining chapter, not just in the company's history but in the evolution of military logistics. Soldiers returning home carried stories of trucks that refused to quit, even as artillery shells shook the earth beneath them. The bulldog identity became inseparable from the brand, symbolizing courage, endurance, and an unwavering ability to push through adversity. The war also transformed Mack's status in America. Before the conflict, the company had been a specialized manufacturer carving out a niche in heavy-duty transportation. After the war, it became a national icon. Industries saw firsthand what Mack Trucks were capable of, and demand soared. But with that fame came new pressures. The public now expected every Mack vehicle to embody the same indestructible spirit that defined the AC on European battlefields, a standard that would challenge the company for decades. Wartime success pushed Mack into the spotlight, but it also set the stage for a larger question. Now that the bulldog had proven itself in war, could it translate that fame into peacetime dominance? The answer would unfold in the decades ahead, as Mack Trucks helped build America's roads, cities, and industries, one grueling haul at a time. Building America, highways, hustlers, and haulers. When World War I ended and soldiers returned home, America entered a period of rapid industrial expansion. Factories were operating at full capacity, cities were growing upward and outward, and the nation was beginning to envision a future connected by paved roads instead of uneven gravel and dirt paths. In this environment, Mack Trucks, fresh from its wartime reputation as the bulldog, was uniquely positioned to meet the demands of a modernizing country. The nation required machines capable of hauling steel, transporting coal, moving concrete, and supporting large-scale infrastructure projects. Mack's rugged, reliable trucks became the workhorses of a country, transforming itself into an industrial powerhouse. Throughout the 1920s and 1930s, Mack Trucks appeared wherever heavy industry demanded dependable transportation. Construction firms relied on them to carry steel beams, concrete, and machinery for bridges, factories, and tunnels. Logging companies depended on them to move massive, felled trees across steep, uneven terrain, and mining operations relied on their capacity to transport ore and equipment over rough roads. At a time when roads were often inconsistent, muddy, or simply non-existent, Mack's durability provided a critical advantage. Their trucks were engineered not only to handle these conditions but to endure them day after day. Word of their resilience spread quickly, earning admiration from drivers, industrialists, and anyone who needed machines they could rely upon without compromise. However, Mack's rise was not without conflict. Labor unions representing drivers, mechanics, and factory workers raised concerns about long hours, unsafe working conditions, and unrealistic delivery expectations. Early truckers often endured grueling schedules, harsh weather, and frequent mechanical breakdowns. while unions argued that companies were prioritizing speed and profit over human safety. Strikes and work stoppages occasionally disrupted supply chains, forcing both manufacturers and industrial clients to confront the harsh realities of long-haul trucking. Mack's reputation for durability did not shield its workforce from the human cost of the industry, and balancing productivity with safety became an ongoing tension. Urban authorities and city planners also posed challenges. As trucks became more common on city streets, critics accused them of damaging roads that were never built to handle such weight. Newspapers frequently reported accidents involving overloaded trucks, often blaming the vehicles rather than infrastructure failures. Municipal governments responded with weight limits, restricted access to certain areas, and licensing fees, forcing manufacturers like Mack to defend both the necessity and safety of their vehicles. These disputes highlighted the growing pains of a nation transitioning from horse-drawn carts to mechanized freight. Despite these challenges, Mack's importance continued to grow as long-distance trucking emerged as a vital component of the economy. Even before the interstate highway system, Mack Trucks were pushing the limits of cross-country hauling. Truckers, nicknamed hustlers, navigated unpredictable roads, primitive navigation tools, and harsh weather to deliver goods faster and more reliably than railroads could in certain regions. While rail transport remained dominant for bulk long-haul freight, trucks filled the gaps, connecting industrial zones, remote towns, and emerging suburbs, effectively knitting the country together in ways previously unimaginable. The creation of the interstate highway system in the 1950s accelerated Mack's prominence. The new network of roads enabled faster, longer hauls, and Mack's trucks became the backbone of this nationwide freight system. The company expanded production, refined engineering, and introduced models specifically designed to meet the demands of highway hauling, solidifying its position in both commercial and industrial sectors. Competition intensified as trucking became more profitable. Manufacturers such as International Harvester, Freightliner, and Kenworth began promoting their own heavy-duty trucks, often suggesting that Mack relied too heavily on its wartime reputation rather than innovation. Mack responded by emphasizing its engineering-first philosophy, highlighting reliability, durability, and real-world performance over style or speed. Marketing campaigns reinforced the idea that while competitors chased technological trends, Mack trucks were built to endure the most extreme conditions. By the time the interstate system was fully operational, Mack had become more than a manufacturer. It had become a symbol of American resilience and industrial strength. Its trucks had built bridges, delivered essential goods across thousands of miles, and shaped the culture of long-haul trucking. The bulldog had proven itself not only in war, but as a cornerstone of America's peacetime growth. Yet, even as Mack helped build the country, looming challenges, technological innovation, environmental regulation, and economic pressures would soon test the company's identity, forcing it to navigate an increasingly complex and competitive industrial landscape. The engineering wars, how Mack became unbreakable. By the mid-20th century, Mack Trucks had earned a reputation for durability and reliability, but the company faced a new challenge: staying ahead in a rapidly evolving industry. Heavy-duty trucking was no longer just about brute force. It had become a technological arms race. Competitors were innovating engines, transmissions, suspensions, and cab designs, and the pressure to maintain Mack's reputation as unbreakable intensified. This period, often overlooked in popular accounts, would define the engineering philosophy that still shapes the Bulldog brand today. Mack approached the challenge with a philosophy rooted in its earliest days: design everything in-house whenever possible. Unlike competitors who relied on off-the-shelf engines or imported components, Mack insisted on creating its own engines, transmissions, axles, and chassis. The reasoning was simple: if a truck broke down, it could not be blamed on external suppliers. and engineers could ensure that every part met the exacting standards of real-world industrial use. This approach required heavy investment, skilled labor, and meticulous testing, but it became Mack's signature strategy, distinguishing it from rivals who prioritized mass production or low cost over endurance. One of the company's most significant innovations came in the 1960s with the development of the Maxidine engine. Traditional diesel engines required constant gear shifting and careful management of RPMs, which added strain on drivers and increased wear on the engine. Maxidine engines, however, were designed with a broad torque range, allowing trucks to operate efficiently at lower RPMs without constant gear changes. The result was a smoother ride, longer engine life, and unprecedented reliability under heavy loads. The Maxidine became a benchmark in the industry, but it also sparked criticism. Some competitors labeled it over-engineered and unnecessarily complex, claiming that it added maintenance challenges and slowed production times. Mack, however, viewed these criticisms as proof that they were pushing the industry forward rather than following it. Suspension systems were another battleground. Heavy trucks faced constant abuse from rough roads, uneven construction sites, and overloaded hauls. Mack introduced innovations such as air ride suspensions, which reduced stress on the chassis and cargo, while providing a more controlled ride for drivers. The technology was expensive and difficult to implement, and early iterations sometimes faced recalls or malfunctions. Critics argued that Mack's insistence on engineering precision created vehicles that were harder to repair in the field. Yet, over time, these innovations proved crucial. Mack Trucks could endure thousands of miles under conditions that would disable competitor models. Conflict during this period was not limited to engineering challenges. Regulatory pressures, particularly around emerging emission standards in the 1970s and 1980s, forced Mack to make difficult compromises. Engineers were asked to reduce diesel emissions without sacrificing the strength and reliability the brand was known for. Some early modifications temporarily decreased performance, sparking criticism from truckers who relied on Mack's legendary power. Internally, this created tension between engineers committed to traditional durability and management, pushing for compliance and cost control. Balancing innovation, regulation, and brand identity became a defining struggle for Mack during this era. Beyond internal challenges, competition intensified. Freightliner, International Harvester, and Kenworth were all introducing lighter, faster, and sometimes more technologically advanced trucks. Many industry analysts questioned whether Mack's philosophy, prioritizing ruggedness over sleek design or high-speed efficiency, would allow it to compete in a modernizing market. Mack's response was consistent. Every new truck model would be tested under extreme conditions, often exceeding federal requirements, to prove that durability and reliability remained at the core of the brand. This period, sometimes called the Engineering Wars, solidified Mack's reputation as unbreakable. Trucks such as the R Series and later the CH Series combined decades of experience with innovations like high-torque engines, reinforced axles, and advanced suspension systems. Drivers and fleet operators came to see Mack as a brand that prioritized long-term value and operational reliability over short-term performance or styling trends. By the end of this era, Mack Trucks had not only defended its reputation against competitors and regulations, but had also created a blueprint for heavy-duty engineering that remains influential today. The company demonstrated that durability could coexist with innovation, that investment in in-house engineering could yield both performance and loyalty, and that a reputation earned on battlefields and highways alike could withstand the pressures of a rapidly changing industrial landscape. Mack's success in the engineering wars laid the foundation for the challenges of the next decades: corporate acquisitions, market fluctuations, and the globalization of truck manufacturing. But during this era, the Bulldog became more than a nickname. It became a symbol of an engineering philosophy that would define Mack Trucks for generations to come. Mack versus corporate America. the battles for ownership. By the late 20th century, Mack Trucks had firmly established itself as an American icon. Its reputation for durability, engineering precision, and unbreakable machines was unrivaled, and the brand had become synonymous with the country's industrial identity. Yet, even as Mack earned the admiration of truckers, construction companies, and industrial leaders, the company faced a new and very different challenge: corporate consolidation and foreign acquisition. The battles over ownership during this period would test Mack's independence, loyalty to American engineering traditions, and its very identity as the nation's bulldog. The first major shakeup came in the post-war era, when global automotive giants began seeking a foothold in the highly profitable U.S. trucking market. Mack's reputation and established customer base made it an attractive target. In 1979, the French automotive company Renault acquired a controlling interest in Mack, signaling the beginning of a tumultuous period of foreign ownership. To some analysts, this was a logical move. Mack needed capital to fund research, expand production, and compete with emerging rivals like Freightliner and Kenworth. Yet, for many Americans, it raised concerns about whether a quintessentially American brand could survive in foreign hands. Critics worried that foreign ownership would dilute Mack's engineering culture and compromise its commitment to rugged, in-house design. Union leaders, truckers, and longtime employees feared that Renault's management would prioritize cost-cutting over quality, streamline production at the expense of durability, and push designs that did not reflect the demands of American roads or drivers. The tension was palpable, and internal morale suffered as longtime engineers and plant managers confronted the reality of corporate restructuring. The controversy extended beyond internal concerns. Industry analysts debated whether foreign ownership threatened Mack's hard-won reputation. Some claimed Renault's influence could bring modern manufacturing efficiencies, improved emissions control, and access to global markets. Others countered that the Bulldog's identity was tied to its American roots, and that foreign oversight might erode the brand's credibility among its most loyal customers. Trucking fleets, many of whom had relied on Mack vehicles for decades, watched closely, uncertain whether the machines they trusted would maintain the same reliability under new management. During this era, Mack faced additional conflict as it sought to balance tradition with modernization. Engineers were encouraged or pressured to adopt new production techniques, standardize parts across multiple markets, and reduce costs to meet shareholder expectations. These changes sometimes clashed with Mack's long-standing culture of in-house innovation and rigorous testing. Engineers and factory workers resisted shortcuts that could compromise durability, resulting in tense negotiations and periodic delays in product launches. It was a struggle between preserving the brand's identity and adapting to a global corporate environment. The Renault era was also marked by financial turbulence. Mack, like many industrial companies of the time, navigated periods of inflation, rising fuel costs, and shifting freight demand. Maintaining profitability while upholding engineering standards required careful strategy. Renault invested in modernization, but the effort was met with mixed results. Production facilities were upgraded, new models were introduced, and the Bulldog brand continued to be marketed aggressively. Yet, the shadow of foreign ownership lingered, creating persistent skepticism among customers and employees alike. In 2000, Mack Trucks entered another chapter when it became part of Volvo Group, a Swedish multinational with a strong reputation in heavy-duty vehicles. Volvo's acquisition brought greater global resources, advanced technology, and stability after decades of uncertainty. Yet it also introduced new debates. Critics questioned whether European management could understand the unique needs of American truckers and industrial clients. Mack faced the ongoing challenge of maintaining its distinctive engineering culture while integrating into a larger corporate ecosystem. Designers, engineers, and executives had to find a balance between innovation, cost efficiency, and the rugged durability that had defined the Bulldog for decades. Despite the controversies and corporate tug-of-wars, Mack survived, and in many ways, it emerged stronger. The battles over ownership tested the company's resilience, forced difficult decisions, and ultimately reinforced the importance of its core values: durability, reliability, and commitment to heavy-duty engineering. Mack proved that even under foreign ownership and corporate restructuring, a brand with a strong identity and loyal following could maintain its reputation and continue to define the heavy-duty trucking industry. By the end of this period, Mack had not only defended its independence and engineering philosophy, but also positioned itself for the challenges of the 21st century. The bulldog identity, forged in wartime and built on decades of industrial service, survived corporate upheaval, proving that Mack Trucks could endure not just the physical demands of the road, but the equally treacherous terrain of modern corporate America. The fall and the fight back, surviving the freight crisis. By the 1980s, Mack Trucks faced one of the most challenging periods in its history. For decades, the company had thrived on a reputation for durability, rugged engineering, and unwavering reliability. Yet the trucking industry itself was undergoing seismic shifts. Deregulation, fluctuating fuel prices, increasing competition, and economic downturns threatened to destabilize the market. What had once been a steady demand for heavy-duty trucks became unpredictable, forcing Mack to confront challenges that no amount of engineering prowess alone could solve. The deregulation of the trucking industry in the early 1980s, initiated by the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, fundamentally altered the competitive landscape. Previously, state and federal regulations had limited competition, ensured route stability, and helped maintain predictable freight rates. Deregulation removed these protections, opening the market to new entrants and fierce price competition. Small, agile carriers flooded the roads, often undercutting established fleets on cost, while demand for expensive, high-end trucks like Mack's declined. Suddenly, the very features that had defined Mack, heavy-duty construction, long-lasting engines, and in-house engineering, were seen by some fleet operators as overbuilt and expensive. Financial strain quickly followed. Mack faced declining sales, rising production costs, and pressure to modernize its manufacturing facilities. Plants that had once operated at capacity were forced to scale back, laying off workers and slowing production. Morale among employees suffered, and public perception of the company wavered. Competitors like Freightliner and Kenworth, who embraced lighter, more efficient trucks, captured portions of the market that Mack had long considered secure. For a company whose identity had been built on toughness and reliability, the sudden vulnerability was both a financial and cultural shock. The crisis also brought internal conflicts to the surface. Mack's engineering culture, which emphasized durability over cost, clashed with management's growing focus on financial survival. Executives debated whether to compromise on traditional design principles to produce lighter, cheaper trucks, or to maintain the standards that had earned the Bulldog its legendary reputation. Some engineers feared that cost-cutting measures would erode the very durability that defined the brand, while financial officers argued that adapting to market realities was essential for survival. These internal debates were intense, reflecting the broader tension between tradition and adaptation, a recurring theme in Mack's history. Despite these challenges, Mack began a slow and deliberate fight back. The company refocused on its core strengths, emphasizing engineering excellence and reliability as competitive advantages rather than liabilities. New models were introduced that balanced modern efficiency with the durability that had long been the Bulldog's hallmark. The CH Series trucks, for example, combined advanced drivetrains and reinforced chassis with the rugged endurance that drivers expected. Mack also began investing in technology to improve fuel efficiency and reduce maintenance costs, demonstrating that innovation and durability could coexist even in a tightened market. The company's revival was gradual and strategic. Mack strengthened relationships with loyal fleet operators, showcasing the long-term value of trucks that could withstand years of heavy use with minimal downtime. Marketing campaigns highlighted not only the engineering excellence of the vehicles, but also the human stories of truckers who relied on Mack machines to earn their livelihoods. By focusing on both the product and its users, Mack reasserted its relevance in a highly competitive, deregulated market. By the 1990s, Mack had successfully weathered the worst of the crisis. While production levels had normalized and some competitors had gained market share, the company had preserved its identity. The Bulldog brand remained synonymous with durability, and Mack's commitment to in-house engineering ensured that its trucks continued to deliver the reliability that customers demanded. Lessons learned during this period shaped Mack's approach to innovation, risk management, and corporate strategy for decades to come. The freight crisis demonstrated that endurance was not solely a matter of mechanical engineering. It required strategic foresight, cultural cohesion, and an ability to navigate volatile economic landscapes. Mack Trucks had survived not by compromise alone, but by leveraging its core strengths while carefully adapting to a transformed industry. The Bulldog had faced one of its toughest challenges yet, and emerged, if not unscathed, then undeniably stronger. Reinvention, the rise of the modern Bulldog. In 2001, the American trucking world watched with apprehension as Volvo Group officially acquired Mack Trucks. For decades, Mack had been the very symbol of American grit, overbuilt, indestructible, and the trusted bulldog of highways from coast to coast. To drivers, mechanics, and fleet owners alike, the acquisition felt like a betrayal. The fear was not just about foreign ownership, but about the potential erasure of Mack's identity, a century-old reputation forged in steel, sweat, and countless miles of relentless hauling. Engineers inside Mack worried that decades of hands-on craftsmanship would be overshadowed by digital diagnostics, lean production methods, and automated assembly lines. Some whispered privately that the soul of Mack, its raw mechanical toughness, might vanish entirely, replaced by sleek, efficient, but soulless European designs. Volvo's modernization efforts immediately sparked tension. Production lines were upgraded with advanced robotics, automated assembly stations, and digital quality control systems, allowing engineers to experiment with new materials, aerodynamics, and engine technologies. Certain plants were relocated or consolidated, triggering protests from union leaders who feared that automation and restructuring would destroy thousands of long-standing jobs in traditional manufacturing hubs. Strikes, rallies, and heated town hall meetings became regular events. Signs reading, "Keep the Bulldog American," were carried proudly outside facilities, reflecting both resistance and pride. Even senior engineers found themselves torn between embracing innovation and preserving decades of methods that had made Mack Trucks legendary. Every decision, from the shape of a cab to the calibration of a suspension, became a battle between tradition and modernization. Despite the tension, Volvo's resources unlocked unprecedented opportunities. Engineers developed advanced MP series engines, delivering more torque, lower emissions, and higher fuel efficiency. Electronic diagnostics replaced guesswork, allowing fleet managers to detect and predict maintenance issues before they escalated. Suspension systems were redesigned to balance traditional overbuilt durability with improved ride comfort and vehicle stability. Aerodynamic improvements increased fuel efficiency without compromising the rugged structural integrity Mack Trucks were known for. Suddenly, Mack was not just tough, it was smart, efficient, and capable of adapting to a rapidly changing market. The truck lineup reflected this delicate balance between tradition and modernization. The Granite returned Mack to the construction and heavy local hauling markets, pairing robust frames and axles with modern safety systems, advanced drivetrains, and electronic aids. The TerraPro series thrived in municipal and vocational roles, offering specialized configurations for refuse collection, concrete mixing, and utility work, all while maintaining the low-end torque and overbuilt durability drivers relied on. Perhaps most striking was the Anthem, designed for long-haul highways. It combined ergonomic cabs, integrated digital dashboards, sophisticated diagnostics, and fuel-efficient engines with the rugged chassis and drivetrain toughness that defined Mack. Some drivers criticized its aerodynamic styling as too European, while fleet operators quickly embraced its operational savings, reliability, and comfort. Customer feedback was mixed at first, but over time, fleet owners praised the truck for reducing downtime, fuel costs, and long-haul fatigue, showing that innovation could coexist with tradition. Even the iconic Mack Bulldog ornament evolved into a symbol of this reinvention. Chrome bulldogs indicated vehicles powered by Mack engines, while gold represented fully integrated systems, blending tradition with modern technology. Drivers and enthusiasts saw the ornaments as a quiet reassurance that Mack's identity remained intact, even under foreign ownership. Behind the scenes, conflicts persisted. Engineers clashed about efficiency versus durability, electronic integration versus mechanical simplicity, and modern design versus classic styling. Some pushed for cutting-edge technology, arguing that survival in a globalized market required modernization. Others insisted that overbuilt frames, reinforced axles, and straightforward engine designs were non-negotiable traits that defined the Bulldog. Management frequently mediated these disputes, often over months, striving to ensure that innovation enhanced, rather than diluted, Mack's core values. They also had to consider market pressures, emissions regulations, fuel costs, and competition from newer global truck brands demanded solutions that balanced performance with compliance. By the end of this transformative period, Mack Trucks had successfully reinvented itself without losing its identity. The Anthem, Granite, and TerraPro became the new icons of the modern Bulldog, tough, reliable, and technologically advanced. The Volvo acquisition, while controversial, ultimately strengthened Mack's future. The Bulldog had not been replaced, it had been enhanced. Even in a globalized and evolving trucking industry, Mack proved it could retain its heritage, endure challenges, and face the 21st century as both a symbol of American toughness and a pioneer of modern innovation. Its legacy, rooted in steel and perseverance, had evolved without compromise, ready to meet the demands of a modern era. The future of the workhorse, EVs, autonomy, and a new identity. As Mack Trucks entered the 2020s, it confronted an unprecedented crossroads. The trucking industry was transforming faster than at any time in its century-long history. Environmental regulations were tightening, fleet operators demanded cleaner solutions, and technology was pushing electrification, autonomy, and AI-driven logistics to the forefront. For a company built on steel, torque, and sheer durability, this shift presented a challenge. How to retain the rugged, unbreakable identity of the Bulldog while embracing a future that relied less on diesel and more on batteries, sensors, and software. The launch of the Mack LR Electric marked the company's first serious step into zero-emission vehicles. Designed for refuse collection, municipal work, and urban delivery, it represented a radical departure from traditional diesel power. The LR Electric featured a fully electric drivetrain and advanced regenerative braking systems, engineered to withstand the harsh stop-start cycles of city routes. Despite the engineering achievement, skepticism ran high. Veteran drivers worried about battery reliability, limited range, and downtime in demanding conditions. Fleet operators questioned whether electric trucks could match the durability and uptime of diesel-powered Mack trucks. Mack engineers responded by demonstrating that the LR Electric maintained payload capacity, torque, and structural toughness equivalent to traditional models, reassuring customers that the Bulldog's legacy was intact. Alongside electrification, Mack aggressively invested in autonomous technologies and AI fleet management. Advanced telematics, predictive maintenance, collision avoidance systems, and lane-keeping assistance were integrated into new models, allowing operators to optimize routes, reduce fuel usage, and prevent downtime. These innovations, while revolutionary, were met with resistance. Experienced drivers feared that over-reliance on autonomous features could diminish their role. making them observers rather than operators. Critics claimed that electrification and AI stripped away the mechanical essence that had defined Mack Trucks for generations. Meanwhile, environmental advocates pushed for rapid adoption of zero-emission vehicles, creating pressure from all sides for Mack to modernize swiftly without alienating its loyal base. Internal conflicts mirrored external tensions. Engineers debated the balance between tradition and innovation. Should diesel models remain alongside electric variants to satisfy long-term customers, or should Mack commit fully to electrification? How far could autonomous systems be deployed without compromising driver control? Management mediated these debates, emphasizing that the bulldog's identity, toughness, reliability, and resilience must guide all technological decisions. Battery placement, chassis reinforcement, and electronic integration were scrutinized to ensure that modern innovations enhanced durability rather than undermined it. Every decision was measured against one question: could this new technology survive the harsh conditions that had forged Mack's reputation? The broader market presented additional controversy. Environmental regulations forced rapid adoption of zero-emission vehicles, often ahead of infrastructure readiness. Charging networks were limited, and costs were high, leading some fleet operators to push back. Mack responded with hybrid solutions, extended battery options, and mechanic training programs to bridge the knowledge gap between diesel and electric maintenance. Pilot programs highlighted that, even in dense urban routes with heavy loads, electric Mack trucks could perform reliably, validating the company's approach. Drivers who initially resisted the change began reporting confidence in the new systems, appreciating quieter operation, smoother rides, and reduced maintenance downtime. Despite skepticism and growing pains, Mack's modernization proved that innovation could coexist with heritage. The LR Electric, combined with AI-driven diagnostics and semi-autonomous features, retained the bulldog's legendary reliability while signaling readiness for a new era. The iconic hood ornament, unchanged for decades, continued to symbolize the link between past and future. A tough, resilient truck, now equipped for the technological challenges of the 21st century. Ultimately, Mack Trucks positioned itself as more than just a brand. It became a symbol of adaptation. Electrification, autonomous assistance, and digital integration were not compromises. They were extensions of the bulldog's enduring identity. Even in a world demanding zero emissions and advanced automation, Mack's workhorses remained unbreakable, proving that innovation could preserve, rather than erode, a century-old legacy. As the industry moved forward, one truth remained clear. The bulldog, whether powered by diesel, electricity, or guided by AI, would continue to dominate American highways, embodying toughness, resilience, and reliability for generations to come, ensuring that Mack's story remained a cornerstone of American trucking history.